Okay, so we're all done, folks. Maybe we'll wait for John. I have a couple questions for him. The rest of us are here. Anthony is excused for this evening. Ordinance number 214-53 is on the third reading. If you're going to make a decision, it's okay for a hearing or a date for that.
I saw the car was pretty bad. Yeah, the car is.
Anything? Any last words? Any final words? On 2014-53?
No.
Okay. 2014-68 is the abatement of criminal nuisances, and this is on a second reading. In fact, there are two things on second reading. That would be garbage fees and the abatement of criminal nuisances. Those are due on Monday, the 8th. So if we could possibly suspend the rules tonight, if you're comfortable with that, for both of those, that would be okay to move those along. That's, or we'll have to have another meeting, and it looks like it would have to be tomorrow. So Friday. It's Friday.
Friday meeting
is Friday, with 24 hours notice.
I gotta get 24 hours notice.
As if it doesn't go to a third reading.
Correct, yeah.
Well, we need 6 votes.
Everyone has gotten the information from Irene, and hopefully you'll have had a chance to look at it and make a decision.
I'm okay to go on second reading.
Second, you need to suspend the rules.
Yes.
Well, you know, if you need to vote no, you can do that. We can possibly suspend the rules this evening. Delete the additional meeting. Any questions on either of those two? Say what? No, you want to say how much was what?
Is it 6?
Is that the way?
So we're talking about 7.
Correct. Correct. There's still some hanging chance here. We don't know what some of the costs are going to be. So even though she says it's got $31,000, it doesn't mean that it's $31,000.
I looked at that email that she sent, their information regarding the estimate for next year garbage fund, and she was estimating that we would receive 1.3 almost $1 million from the property tax for this fund. I was wondering why, she's not here, why that was so significantly less than what we received last year and what we were expecting to receive this year. Well, there we go.
Did you communicate and ask this question previously, or are you just seeing it now?
Madam Finance Director, I had a question regarding the email that you had sent out with the amounts that you had indicated in it for the trash fund.
Your question?
You had mentioned that you expect $1.276 $1,276,000 to come into this fund next year. Why is that so significantly less than what we received in 2013 and what we expect to receive this year, 2014?
Well, the first sentence sort of tells you that the gross is 1.5, and based on the county's projected collection rate of 83%, so I subtract the 17% from that.
So did you have the 2015 Certificate of Estimated Resources or something?
No. What they do every year, they send out what they call a Schedule A. And on there, they show what the estimated taxes, and then they show the collection rate, which is like 18.3. because of delinquencies. So using that factor, that was like $268,000.
That 82% or the 17%, whatever, that's not collected. So I understood that was already figured into the estimate that they give us. It's not something we need to figure in separately.
No, you're confusing the documents. We're talking about two separate things. There's the estimated resources. Then there's also, actually, it's the same number. If you look at the Schedule A and look at the estimated resources, the number is the same.
So we're going to collect $200,000 less in 2015 than we did in 2013.
I didn't say that we would. It's a projected number based on the rate. So I didn't want to over-project. This is the rate that they give us on a document. And what they say that the projected history rate for Maple Heights is like 82.3%, which is 17.7. So I use that in the estimate, but who knows? I mean, we won't know until the year is actually over what we collected. And since we don't have the second half collection as of this time, there's no way of saying that settlement will come in probably the end of this month.
And we are not planning anymore to transfer $200,000 annually to the general fund from this fund? Because I'm looking at it, you said the income or the net income would be $31,000 coming in 2015 according to the estimate.
Plus the fund balance is carried over. These numbers are not finite, they're estimated numbers. So I estimated them based on the information given to us. It may be that we receive 95% of the monies, we won't know. But in terms of budgeting estimates, we use the numbers that they give us. So next year we'll be able to say what we actually receive, but in terms of the estimates, we use the budgeted numbers.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to 1471. This is the initiative committee which has brought this forward, and it is on first reading, and it will be moved to the committee of the whole as soon as we can find a date and a time. 2000.
Madam Chair, I had a comment about 71. Here in our whereases, you will notice in the third one and the fourth one, we refer to Article 8 of the Charter.
Correct.
That's incorrect for this instance. What we are considering is an amendment to the Charter. Amendments to the Charter are covered in Article 20 of our Charter. Article 8 covers other initiative petitions, not to include charter amendments. So we need to consider this in light of Article 20 as well as the Supreme Court judgments regarding these types of matters.
I think I'm going to wait, and we'll have Mr. Montello weigh in on this. We'll call for an executive session so we can discuss this, and he can give us the up-to-date information.
But we can't just receive it now?
No.
Why not?
Not because we're in the middle of litigation.
It's executive session.
It's nothing that
This is a
demands an
public
executive
forum.
session.
This is a public
Litigation
forum.
is one that demands
But does it demand it? It's required to go into executive session, or you're permitted to go into executive session?
Whatever, Bill.
Yeah, exactly. There's a difference between permitted.
I don't want to discuss it here now, okay?
You also have a camera going.
Thank you. Well, see, the difficulty is the city must abide by the Ohio Constitution in this matter. That's just a simple story.
Okay.
The Ohio Constitution declares that the requirements
Madam
for
Chairman,
petition...
he's not an attorney, you're giving legal advice now.
Oh, it's really easy.
Did you go to law school? When did you graduate?
I learned to read in about the
We
third
are going
grade.
to-
Well, whatever, rather not discuss it in a
Excuse me,
public.
we are going to put this into an executive session. We cannot discuss
there's
it
nothing-
in front of a camera.
Oh, sure we can.
No, we cannot, so we'll move
Very
on.
easy right here in the
We
Ohio
will move
Secretary of
on.
State's handbook.
We are moving on, thank you.
It says right here what the rules are. We're bound by.
2014-72 is October National Disability Employment Month. Mr. Jackson, is this yours?
Yes, it is.
Did you want to speak to it at all?
A little bit.
Basically, it's just to bring awareness to the public on some of the issues dealing with disability in employment. Even myself, before I became disabled, I was in the field of construction and architecture. I was not aware as I am now about some of the difficulties that people with disabilities find in employment, from as simple as getting into the building or having a work area that's compatible with their challenges, and so on and so on.
Okay.
I can keep going if you like.
No, that's fine. This is on a first reading. Is it necessary to pass it tonight?
I would like that, but passing, I don't see any reason why it would be held up.
Madam
Go
President,
ahead.
I would like to ask Mr. Jackson if he would mind if I was added as a co-sponsor.
Yes, great.
Add me too.
Good.
Tony?
Fine. Me too.
Thanks.
Richard, Alex, Tony,
Mhm.
and who else?
And Mr. Brownlee, I think, too?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Resolution 14-73, this is the tax advance program. This is due in October. Irene, is this something that we can delay? Or
This is due by December 31st.
no, that one says, I thought it was in October.
No, the tax rates are due October the 1st. 74, is that what we're on, 74? 73 is due December 31st.
December 31st. Oh, I'm sorry, because I had a schedule here that said October.
No, October 1st is 74.
Yeah, you do. Thank you. Okay, so it's 12. 3-1, okay. So
I said one
first reading, is
small
that?
note.
Are we looking at his first reading? Doesn't matter. Questions, please?
On the, well, perhaps I guess this is the next one, 74, I have a small note.
So do I.
On the date.
The date, yeah.
74.
It's this little one, right?
What, you're asking why it's little?
Yeah, I'm assuming this is the little one here, 74. This is the, so
Mhm.
It says September 2013, which would be September 2014.
It's 14.
right?
Okay, but it's 13.
It should be 14.
Yeah, it's
I know that's what we're saying.
Type correct.
Yeah, the date is
Very
incorrect,
just-
okay.
It'll be changed on the big one is on 11 by
Well,
14.
that's why it's small.
Okay. Okay, we can pass these. It would absolutely relieve some of the housekeeping. What's your pleasure, council?
Pass.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, within Anthony Brown, we need everybody to vote to suspend the rules. So just keep that in mind. 2014-75 is the CDBG grant, and that also has a due date of, we did this information program last meeting, but this also has a due date that's pretty quick, coming up on the 15th. So if, all we need to do is authorize the contracts for this.
I have a question about this. Does somebody have a schedule of what streets that these would, this work
Libby
would
Road.
be?
Now, I don't know, Ed Wren was supposed to have sent a memo. Unfortunately, I didn't get it. It was supposed to go to the council office, and he was going to give more of an explanation.
Okay. A lot of them are done already.
Where were them?
Yeah, they are.
Construction.
It just depends on, pardon?
Wherever that Libby Road construction is going to be.
Oh, is this
It's all
going to be a tie-in with that?
It's all up and
Okay.
down.
Yes.
Do you know, John?
I think it's to do as many curbs, as in for the curbs, Mayor, as many curbs as we can do.
No. It's for, Madam President, the project runs from Northfield Road to Lee Road.
Right.
And this, as mandated by the federal government, we have to replace every wheelchair or handicap ramp at every intersection. There's new standards for these now. So there's, you know, every intersection from Northfield, both sides of the road, all the way to Lee, they all have to be replaced. So this will count, this block grant. It's kind of a creative way to finance our contribution to the state. They will accept this as our contribution to the project.
Does that answer the question?
Pretty much. I'm assuming though, because some of these were done just a couple, 2-3 years ago.
You're correct, they were, but since then the federal government and ODOT have changed the standard of these ramps, whether they made them bigger or put more of a slope in them, or I'm not real sure what they've done, but they have changed the specification and they all have to be ripped out and replaced.
So, if I understand this correct, this is directly tied to the Libby Road resurfacing project?
Yes.
So this will be part of our city contribution to receive the state funds?
Yes.
And these will be ramps crossing Libby, not
every side street.
East and side street ramp too?
Every intersection, every side street, wherever the ramps currently are or where they're not, there may be some that are needed, they'll be put in.
Thank you. 2014-76. This is amending their contract, which would be the second time they've amended their contract, and it looks like they are actually getting a little more of the revenue from NDIS. So that might be a good thing to pass this as quickly as possible. Or has this started already?
No, it hasn't started. We just received this not too long, the last week or so.
Okay.
So this information is fairly new.
Okay.
But no, it is not started as of yet.
Madam President.
Go ahead.
What brought it forward, the changes?
Go ahead.
I had asked the mayor to call a meeting with the companies when we were going through different initiatives looking for revenue for our fiscal plan. So we had met with the principal there, Jeff. This was his agreement in response to our request. Unfortunately, I don't have the old contract with me to compare it to, but this is his response to our request after the meeting.
Madam President?
Yes.
If council wishes, it might not be a bad idea to have this in a committee and have them come in to explain themselves and their company and their procedures and this proposal. I kind of sense council may have questions about inspecting and inspections and inspectors and other things. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
I agree with that.
Probably be a good session for everybody.
I'd like to see that go.
Me as well.
Okay. Committee of the whole. Committee of the whole on finance. Which one? Committee of the whole. If I'm assuming that everybody would be interested in this, so let's just do a committee of the whole. And maybe what doesn't have to scramble. 2014-77 is this is just getting ready to make the application. We haven't done any paperwork as yet. Is that correct? That's correct. So this is the first reading. It can be. Okay.
I just like a brief introduction to what this is covering and how it works with it.
We make application for a grant. A proposal comes out from the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging to provide older Americans dollars to municipal offices on aging. We apply for transportation funds, congregate meal, and home delivered meals. So we get some money from them, and all the meals come to us free of charge. So this is, our understanding is that the area agency is not going to ask for a full proposal this year. They're going to only ask for a rollover because there are no extra dollars left. But in that proposal, in the application, they need the authorization of City Council to authorize the mayor to enter into this for another year.
Okay. So this is a renewal of something that we currently have for a while and receiving.
It is a renewal, but we will be requesting extra funds, more funding.
This is something that's
It's not
consistent.
automatic. It's not automatic. That's
To be renewed, you mean?
right.
Right.
Comes up every year.
Yeah. This is something, how long we've been receiving this?
We've received Older Americans dollars since about 1990.
Would you turn to your expenditures over $1,000, please? If you have any questions, now's a good time to bring them forward. No questions?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And I don't know if the chief could answer to this, but the equipment that was stolen, is that covered under any type of insurance? Or is this our deductible?
It's under the deductible.
You don't get the TV back, right? You don't get the TV back, right?
As we said at the very beginning, Kathy's getting caught up on council clerk is getting caught up on the minutes. If you had any amendments to the minutes, if you'd like to do that now instead of at the meeting, we would put that up to almost June. First of June.
Madam President?
Yes.
I read through the minutes and I would like to say that they are over-abbreviated.
I didn't hear that, what? I'm sorry.
Over-abbreviated.
Oh, thank you.
So,
In what area do you think they're over?
return to page 2 of May 21st. We'll see the citizens' comments. Ms. Vopat actually got up to make comments at this meeting, and it simply says that she explained several programs at the senior center. But firstly, that wasn't at all what she did during the comments. Ms. Vopat got up to speak on behalf of the administration and the mayor for the way they've been spending money over the years. And even said things as much as I had to say something, some insult to Mayor Lansky. It didn't have anything to do with the senior center. Mr. Halen was another person who got up. He didn't make comments about delinquent taxes, though that maybe was mentioned during 10 seconds of his 3 minutes of comments. But he again got up and advocated for the administration. The next gentlemen who were housing investors, their comments were summed up and they complained about the time it takes to get a point of sale inspection. First of all, they weren't complaining, that word has such a negative connotation, but they both suggested and requested temporary permits, some type of temporary resolution to the problem they were facing. They didn't merely get up and complain. If you flip over to the third page, you will see the section where I was forcibly and wrongly removed from the meeting. There's only 6 of the 12 steps of that event that were recorded in here. Mr. Jackson asking to talk isn't even mentioned in here, though he attempted twice to make comments at this point in time. If you go to the next meeting, June 2nd, or I'm sorry, May 28th, this was the meeting where Mr. Brubaugh came in and introduced us to the off-the-traffic program. If you remember, that meeting lasted quite a significant amount of time after he made his 5-minute presentation. There was about 28 minutes of us asking questions and receiving answers that are not at all recorded in these meeting minutes. If you flip over to June 2nd, and they're just too abbreviated. You see here again with Ordinance 2014-43, all that we showed here is that a motion was made to suspend the rules and then it was withdrawn. That was it. That's not at all how it went. There's 19 minutes of of discussion missing, where we had comments from the police chief. We had discussion among ourselves about the speed limits, the rates that they were going to be set at. And to be frank, the motion was never withdrawn. There was never a motion to withdraw or a request to withdraw the motion. So these are just too abbreviated. They don't reflect what happened in the meetings. And this is important because one day someone's going to look back and they're going to wonder what was said at this meeting, who did what at this meeting. They're going to look back and it's not going to be either a good representation of what happened, either because it was too abbreviated or because some of the facts are not lined up with what actually happened. So these minutes are just not sufficient.
Madam Chair, may I comment? Sure. According to Robert's Rules of Order, which you really like, question, is it necessary to summarize matters discussed at a meeting in the minutes of that meeting in order for the minutes to be complete? The answer, according to Robert's Rules, not only is it not necessary to summarize matters discussed at a meeting in the minutes of that meeting, it is improper to do so. Minutes are a record of what was done at a meeting, not a record of what was said. This is Robert's Rules.
So, but here we're also governed by the Sunshine Laws.
They can always watch
and the Sunshine
your recordings
laws,
and get the whole meeting.
But that's not the point. The Sunshine Laws declare that there must be enough information to describe how the deliberation was conducted and how the body reached the decision. That includes listing. We're not governed simply by Robert's Rules at this body. We are governed also by the Sunshine Laws. So if we would read those, we would be aware of the requirements.
The citizens' comments have nothing to do.
I only mentioned that once. There are many other things that were missing. Questions that were asked, deliberation that was conducted, that was not at all recorded in the minutes. That is not acceptable for this body.
This has come up once before.
Yes, it has. And it's something that does need to be addressed.
Okay. Then perhaps you'd like to abstain from voting.
If that's your solution, then I think you risk your own validity.
I don't think so, but you can always go back to the tapes if you're concerned about accuracy. And accuracy is important. I agree with that.
Then we should amend.
Perhaps.
Madam Chair.
We also... Go ahead. Yes.
I don't think that you're ever going to get a group of people to agree on what should or should not be in the minutes or how they should be written or transpired. But I think what might be at the end of the minutes stating that if you want to listen to the transcribed, complete tape of what it is, it's available. But to try to put everything in the minutes that everybody says, I think would be way overkill.
I've been doing this for 9 years. I've never done word for word.
No one's asking for word. We left out 20 whole minutes of one meeting. That's unacceptable. If we look at Garfield Heights and other municipalities, they are much more in depth than ours. Not overly cumbersome, but they simply list everything that happened at the meeting, even if it is sometimes.
Do we save the tape of all the meetings?
Yes.
So there's a public record there, correct?
Yes.
All right, and we also asked Mr. Brownlee to produce his video for, not to pick on it, but to have a public record of the meeting, but he doesn't want to do that, so whatever. But that would be nice too for people to see, and if they wanted a copy. I mean, that was the purpose of it, not to demean you in any way, just that I would like to maybe show this to my grandkids one day.
But they're accessible to you on YouTube. Just
I don't know how to use YouTube, Bob.
But your grandkids
I've never been on it. I bet you're right.
We're going to be going into an executive session to discuss some legal issues.
If you so move and vote.
Well, I don't know if that's agreeable. Is everyone interested in hearing what the status is or no? Yes, no. Do you want to do that early or later?
Whatever you prefer, honestly.
It would be short.
What time is it, 7?
It's 7 o'clock right now, yes.
I mean, why don't we do it after so the people don't have to wait?
After the meeting.
Yeah.
fine.
When will we adjourn to executive session on the agenda?
Pardon me?
During what part of the agenda, what portion of the meeting will we adjourn?
That's what we were just discussing.
I know, what was the conclusion?
My suggestion was after citizens' comments.
I agree.
If it's just brief, how long do you expect it to be?
Or do we want to
5 minutes.
do legislation? Legislation.
Or after the legislation. I'd almost like to see it at the very end of the meeting, so if people want to go or leave, if they can.
That's usually customarily what's done, you know.
Yeah, let's do
Or
it.
you-
I say just do it right away. You got 5 minutes. We're
Do it ahead of time?
considering there's a piece of legislation that we would like to have. I mean, one of the pieces is what you're going to be discussing with us. So we should know that prior to making any motions on it, I would assume.
There's no motion going on.
So you assume.
There's no discussion. Okay, we'll do it after the meeting and have a little more time to go over whatever information we have.
What do you mean by after the meeting? Because it has to be during the meeting. It would have to be after our comments, after legislation. Where do you expect it to come?
Anytime before.
Or don't you know? Is that why you're not saying? Come on, why is it so hard?
Because you're making a point of sticking to
Of what?
exactly what.
When are we going to
Are
adjourn
you
to
not
executive
Yeah, just
session?
tell them, I mean,
Yeah, what's the problem?
I'd say after the comments, so you guys, people can go home.
Anytime before adjournment is during the meeting.
Yeah, it still has to be during the meeting.